Hi, I'm Joseph Pate with Arbitrage Trade Analytics, and today we're going to talk about the arbitrage bands. The arbitrage bands is the most basic but also the most powerful tool in our entire inventory. All other indicators are actually based off of the bands. Right now I have the 1 hour chart pulled up for CVM stock. We are looking at the arbitrage band itself. There are many bands, as you'll come to learn through our teachings, but this is the most commonly and widely used band. And we're going to go over each parts of the band because before you can learn how to read something or use it, you need to know all of the parts. Just like reading a book, you need to understand every word inside of that book, like a vocabulary. So let's start with breaking down each part. These little lines that are moving up and down are candles. They look like little candles. They even have wicks that you can light on fire. And these candles are moving either down, up, or sideways. Well, a candle is the representation of the value of a stock at any given time. So for instance, we're looking at the 1 hour chart. Well, the 1 hour chart means that each of these candles takes an hour from start to finish. So it is the value of the stock, whether it went from $1 to $2 or $2 to $2.25. It is the change in the value of that stock in that given time frame. So if you're looking at a 1 minute chart, we'll go to real quick. Each of these candles is a minute, another minute, another minute. So you might look at a bunch of candles, but it's only 30 minutes of real time in your day. Maybe this is your lunch break. So this is happening much faster because the candles are representing a smaller amount of time. If you aren't trying to make really quick decisions and you're trying to have a safer, more stable play, these larger candles, based on an hour time or even larger, you can go up to the day where every candle is a day. They're pulling in so much more data and it's averaging bigger periods of time. So you won't get as many quick fluctuations. You'll get more stable ups and downs. Every trader has his or her own style, but understanding that the candle is the representation of the value of the stock based on the timeline you're looking at. Now, what are the colors of these candles? Well, in normal trading, if you're not using the beautiful, wonderful arbitrage bands, you have two colors, green and red. Green is up, red is down. Pretty straightforward, but it's not really as much information that we want to see because the more information that we have, the better we can make a decision to make profit or to take profit. So let's take a look. We have three common candle colors. We have white, yellow, and blue. There are two other candle colors, green and fuchsia, these pink candles, and we'll get into those in just a moment. They are variations of these common three candles. The white candles mean that nothing's really changed. It's static. If the stock was $12 when it started that 1 hour candle and it ended at $12 at the end of the hour, even if it went up and down within that time frame, but it ended basically or at where it started, it's just a white candle. It's a neutral candle. But this is still important. It's still good data. A yellow candle means the candle went up. It started at one price and ended at a higher price within that time frame. The blue candle is the opposite of that. It started at one price, let's see, 1203 here, and ended at 1188. So whether it's going up as a yellow candle, neutral as a white candle, or down as a blue candle, we can see the direction that the actual price of the stock is going. Now let's talk about the blue and the green and the fuchsia candles. Well, these are variations of up candles and down candles, but they are very special. Green means a very good up candle, and red or magenta, fuchsia, whatever you want to call it, pink, is a very bad down candle. And the reason is they are at the very bottom of this band or at the very top of the band, which means much higher chance to stay going up for a very good profit or much higher chance to stay going down for a very big possible profit if you're shorting, or at least get out and don't ride through the pain. Now, to not overwhelm you, we've talked about candles and that these are the average price of the stock and what the colors mean. But let's talk about the rest of this band before we go any further. Well, let's dissect the parts. Well, we have a blue line and a red line here that you see moving around this entire chart. Well, the blue line is called the compass. It's the true north, if you will, of the stock, the direction it's going, just like you would use a compass to find your true north. Well, the red line is the momentum. It is how fast it is moving in that direction and also which direction it's moving. Well, if the blue line, the compass, is above the red line, it says it's an upward momentum. You're going towards that true north. If the blue line then falls under the red line, the momentum, we now have a negative momentum. We have a downward momentum. So just remember that the blue line is the compass, your true north. Momentum is the red line. It's how fast it's traveling. Think of that speedometer going into that red line. It's speed. And then we have their big buddy, the RSI line, or at least the arbitrage RSI. This black line, as you can see, is bouncing along within the band. Well, the black line cannot leave the band. It's just math. It is built that way, and it cannot leave. So knowing that it can't leave, it lets us make some very good predictions. If you take a look right here, the black line is falling, it's falling, it's falling, and then it runs out of room. It goes into what we call the lower danger zone. You can see this band has a darker shaded color in the top and the bottoms. These are called the danger zones. They're the very last 5–10% of the band, and it means that it has a much higher chance to turn direction. And if it gets really low, we have a very good chance of going all the way to the other side and not just in the middle. So what we see here is the blue compass line crosses over the red, which is a good indicator of upward momentum. But then when they also both cross over the RSI, that is a very happy time because the RSI is resistance or support. Depending on which way you're coming from, it's going to be harder to break through this line than it is to actually bounce off of it. And we'll see multiple instances in later training videos of higher level strategy explaining how to predict when it's going to bounce off or break through. But for this circumstance, you can see that it has broken through and we get a major up. That's where we get those green candles because it was an uptrend that started while in the lower danger zone. In retrospect and in reverse, the red, pink, fuchsia candles is downward trend. We've got blue candles, but now it's crossed over the RSI and we're going down. So candles are the average cost and value of a stock at any given time. The blue line is the compass, the true north. The red line is the momentum, how fast it's going up or down. The RSI is the black bouncing line that cannot leave the band. It is the average value of the stock over time. A candle can change quickly. It can drop real fast, it can go up real fast, and that's why we can make some really good money, or if we make a bad decision, lose money quickly. But we're not always making quick decisions, quick in and outs. We're playing the longer term game. That's why we get this average and play on the averages. So we've talked about the black RSI line. We've talked about the blue compass, the red momentum, and the candles. Well, what is this orange line in the middle of the band? Well, it's actually the mean. It is the middle, but actually the mean of the band. And it lets us know what direction the band itself is pointing. Is it flat and even? Is it going in an upward uptrend motion, or is it coming in a downward downtrend motion? This is important because if you look at the RSI line, what's to say that this band isn't going to make a little worm tunnel and go further down? Well, that is based on the mean of the band and which way the candles are going. So if the candles start going up, it's going to help this average, the mean, go up as well. So we kind of keep an eye on that. There's a lot of other indicators that we use to confirm or verify what we're looking at. But this is just a very basic arbitrage band video. We'll be making many more intermediate and advanced videos of how to read this band, how it looks with many other bands. There's quite a few bands and they're very powerful. But the last thing I want to talk to you about the bands that's very important is the deviations. Well, when you have the mean of the band, the orange line in the middle, you can go one step up or one step down to the upper or lower danger zone. And this is very common. As you can see, the band bounces and the candles go up, and then they go back down, then they go up. Well, The RSI has to stay within the band, but the candles do not. They can be rebels and break free for a short amount of time. Well, as you can see, they can actually go up. It's very light. I can make it darker, but there's a 2 deviations line. It's another 1 step, 2 step up. As you get higher out of bounds away and more steps away from home, if you will, you get homesick. And these candles get homesick as well. They want to get back towards the mean eventually. And so if we look over here, we can see they are 3 deviations up, which is extremely unlikely to live there. You've gone on a trip, it's expensive, you've flown out of country, and you're there, and it's fun while it lasted, but you probably want to come back home at least for a little bit to regroup. And so that's what happens. We can probably even see a past inclination of this. Here's the stock around the lower danger zone, all the candles, the RSI, starts an upward momentum, and it hits 3 deviations up. Now, it didn't really even fly that much over the top of it, but it's kind of homesick. So it kind of makes its way back to 2 deviations. The band itself grows, and then now it's back to 1 deviation and then fully back home. Given enough time, candles, the RSI, everything is going to try to find its way back home to the mean of that line. So without getting too advanced, this is all that you really need to know about the arbitrage band, is that we have green up indicators to buy, green light, red indicators to get out, red light, stop trading, get out, take your profits. And then these are all the parts of the band. So quiz yourself. Can you explain what a candle is to someone else? Can you explain that a white candle is neutral? A yellow candle is an upward momentum candle. A blue candle is a downward momentum candle. Can you quiz somebody else and ask, what is the blue line? It's my compass. It's my true north. The red is the momentum, the speed of that trade and how fast the candles are moving. And talk about that mean being your home. The deviations, 1 step up, 1 step down, all the way up to 3 steps up and 3 steps down. And then the very powerful RSI that helps us understand where we are in a trade. Are we running out of room on this momentum? Do we need to take profit and lock some in? Or is it time to get out and not ride through the pain and then make more profit later? Thank you all. I hope you look forward to future videos that have much more advanced strategies in using the arbitrage band. Have a great day.